guys, it's Kate here with a book review for you today, and I'm going to be reviewing The Shepherd's Life by James Rebanks. Please don't mind Benedict Cumberbatch popping out of my book. I love this bookmark. And I loved this book. This was such a treat at the end of the year to read this. It was on Waterstone's Books of the Year, and that's how I heard about it. It didn't win Book of the Year, but it was one of the shortlisted ones. So the format of this book is just this man, James Rebanks, who is a shepherd, talks about the year and the life of a shepherd. So there's 4 sections to it, and it starts in summer, and then there's fall, and then there's winter, and then there's spring. And then within those different seasons, he talks about his life story, and you get to get his life story. So what is really special about this book is I was able to learn about something that I really didn't know much about, and obviously it's in a totally different country, and then secondly, it's a really different lifestyle, and a lifestyle that sadly is just, there are less and less people who are owning small farms. And so it was just a real treat and a great way to be educated. And a big bonus of this, even though it is a nonfiction, it's a very riveting read, and there is such beautiful prose in here. And so I'll read several quotes to you and also just talk about different aspects of the book. And so I thought it was really neat because the book opened up where he puts the word hefted, and he says, sorry, let me get right to it. Okay, so he says hefted, and it's a noun, and it means a piece of upland pasture to which a farm animal has become hefted. And the second is an animal that has become hefted thus. And then the verb form is to become accustomed and attached to an area of upland pasture. And what is really interesting about this is, he's speaking about the sheep, and that's something that happens with them, but then it becomes very clear while you're reading the book that he has become hefted to the land. And it was really beautiful to read about what purpose he has and what satisfaction and joy he gets out of being on a sheep farm and doing what his family has done. They know for sure 6 generations back that his family has lived on sheep farms in the Lake District, and he's just has such purpose from it and such satisfaction. And he, ever since he was little, his first memories, are of being out with the sheep and with his grandfather and his father. And you learn a lot about his grandfather, and he has such a love for his grandfather, and he really admires the elders in his family for all of the knowledge that they've learned in their time being shepherds, and really knows that you have to learn a lot of that through experience. And so the older he gets, the more he's learning about sheep farming. And then as he gets older, there are some tensions with his dad, just kind of personality conflicts. So he goes away to Oxford and gets a degree, which he was the first man in his family to go to college. And so it kind of shook up the family when he went away. But then it was neat because when he comes back, it's harder and harder for small farms to survive. So when he comes back, he's able to have kind of a job with his college degree, and then from those earnings, he's able to build a house for he and his wife and kids to live in, and for them to still have the life that he wanted, to earn enough money for that. So it's just an incredibly beautiful read. Then another element of this book is him talking about how the Lake District in itself has changed so much so recently. And Beatrix Potter was a lot of that, but also before that, Romanticism, kind of mountains and valleys and lakes came to be considered very beautiful. So then tourism really started to grow. And he says, "It is a curious thing to slowly discover that your landscape is beloved of other people. It is even more curious and a little unsettling when you discover by stages that you as a native are not really part of the story and meaning they attach to that place. There are never any tourists here when it is raining sideways or snowing in winter, so it is tempting to see it as a fair weather love. Our relationship with the landscape is about being there through it all. To me, the difference is like the distinction between what you felt for a pretty girl you knew in your youth and the love you feel for your wife after many years of marriage. Most unsettling of all to me was the discovery that people who thought about this place in this way outnumbered us by many hundreds to one. I found that threatening to our very existence in an age when we increasingly had to do what we were told by politicians and the general public. But no one else seemed much concerned. I told my dad it was weird that none of these book people were much interested in what he did. His response was, "Don't tell them, they'd only ruin it." So there's one more quote I'd like to read to you, and this is, well, it speaks for itself. So he says, "When I leave my flock in the fells for summer and come down home, I leave something of myself up there with them. So several times a day, I look away to the skyline where they graze. Sometimes I can't help myself and go back up the fell just to see that all is well. The skylarks ascend, singing, disturbed by my boots and the sheepdogs. The sheep's evident satisfaction to be back where they feel at home means that winter and spring are fast receding behind us. The fell sheep can largely look after themselves in the coming weeks. So I lie down by the beck and cup out a handful of water. I slurp it. There is no water tastes so sweet and pure." This was such a beautiful read, and it's so neat to see a man that is so connected to nature and so passionate about farming, local farming, and being good stewards of, what you've been given. And it's a great read. If any of that sounds interesting to you, I would definitely give it a read. I'm really glad that I read it, and I am glad that this got shortlisted for Waterstone's Book of the Year. Thanks for watching, guys, as always, and I hope you're having a lovely day. Please comment any thoughts that you have down below. I'd love to discuss with you, and I will see you guys for another video soon. Bye-bye.